paralyzes oil flows and airports around the world. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the war is not going to take years. In wake of tensions between US and Iran, President Donald Trump vows insurance for ships in the Gulf after Iran shuts down the Strait of Hormuz, sending oil prices soaring. Adds the US military will accompany ships through Hormuz Strait if necessary. Additionally, Trump lashes out at Spain for not backing the United States, says it will cut trade ties with the country. Stocks on Wall Street sell off as investors monitor the situation in West Asia. Dow closes off the day's low, down 400 points after falling as much as 1,200 points as Iran conflict volatility continues. Meanwhile, S&P 500 as well as Nasdaq each end 1% lower. Markets in Asia-Pacific region follow suit. Stocks trade in the red as investors monitor developments in West Asia. The GIFT Nifty is indicating a gap-down start for the Indian market. Brent holds around $81.5 per barrel, halting a three-day rally as traders assessed a U.S. proposal to provide naval escorts for tankers transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, gold holds near the $5,100 per ounce level as stronger dollar weighs and rate cuts bets are tempered. Hello, good morning. You've tuned into CNBC TV 18. You're watching Power Breakfast with me, Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. While yesterday we were on a holiday, we did see the global market seeing a bit of a sell-off coming in, not a bit, a lot of sell-off that we saw and read across the screen, across the globe. Now, today, the Asian markets, too, continue to see that decline coming in. Taiwan index down more than 2%. Hang Seng down more than 1.5%. Kospi, that continues to see the sharpest decline. Yesterday, also, it was down 6-7%. Today, also, it's down almost 7% in the trading session. The Japanese index, Nikkei, that's seeing a sharp fall of 3% as well. So across the globe, any of the indices that you pick up, that you're seeing red coming in, more than 1.5% decline across the globe. So there's pressure given the West Asia tensions, the US, Iran, Israel tensions. There's no de-escalation coming in there. We are expecting red even for our Indian markets. If you look at the Nifty implied open, that's indicating a gap down start, a sharp gap down start for the Indian markets. 500-point downtick is what we're seeing. So overall, even the US markets yesterday indicated a fall and sharp fall there as well. And that is what is expected today in the Indian trading session as well. But getting you the updates in terms from our top story, we've been tracking this for weeks as well in terms of the markets that are going on and tension that is going on between the US and Israel. The tensions in West Asia that have escalated as war enters its fifth day. Israel as well as US forces continue to pound targets across Iran, prompting Iranian retaliatory strikes around the Gulf as conflict spread to Lebanon. Israel also reports intercepting the latest barrage of missiles from Iran. Now, Iranian drones struck the region near U.S. consulate in Dubai. This came in after U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait were hit in the previous days. Washington shut both the embassies as well as its embassy in Lebanon and ordered non-emergency government personnel and their families to leave much of West Asia. Now, meanwhile, passengers scramble to leave West Asia as flights disruption continue across the region. Now, moving on and continuing with more updates coming in here, and what has President Trump spoken about overnight in the last couple of trading days as well. President Trump also said that country's Navy will protect ships in West Asia if necessary in a bid to stop energy supply crunch sparked by US-Israel war with Iran. President Trump has said that US government will provide risk insurance at a very reasonable price to all shipping firms in the region to ensure free flow of energy to the world. This is what he said in a Truth Social post. Now, moving on, US President Donald Trump has also commented in terms of Spain, saying that Spain was very uncooperative and acted like a terrible ally after it declined to allow US forces to use Spanish bases for strikes on Iran. He said that US is going to cut off all trade and directed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to cut all of the dealings with the country. Now, Trump comments come in where he was talking at the White House press conference. Both Trump as well as German Chancellor Merz were talking in this as well. Listen in.
Spain has been very, very uncooperative, and so has UK. Now, the second one is shocking, but this is not the age of Churchill. I will say the UK has been very, very uncooperative with that stupid island that they have, that they gave away and took a 100-year lease, having to do with perhaps indigenous people claiming the island. Spain has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases. And that's all right, we could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it, but we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him, we don't want to, Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain.
And as the fighting between U.S. and Iran rages on, U.S. President Donald Trump says the exiled son of Iran's toppled Shah is not someone that his administration has considered in depth to take over Iran. Listen in.
I guess he is. Some people like him, and we haven't been thinking about too much about that. It would seem to me that somebody from within maybe would be more appropriate. I've said that. He looks like a very nice person. But it would seem to me that somebody that's there, that's currently popular, if there's such a person, but we have people like that. We have people that were more moderate. You know, these were radical lunatics, and you know what they get? They get nothing. All they do is kill people.
The U.S. President Donald Trump said that U.S.'s Iran operations can extend beyond 4 to 5 weeks if needed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the war against Iran may take some time, but not years. Listen in.
Peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia would be really possible and probably very close once this thing happens. So this is a gateway for peace, for a broader peace, and I believe that that we can achieve it. I said it could be quick and decisive. It may take some time, but it's not going to take years. It's not an endless war. In fact, it's an effort right now to achieve the peace that we all yearn and pray for. And I think together we'll achieve it.
Now, moving on, the Indian government has said that it is well stocked with crude oil and inventories of key products to deal with the short-term disruptions due to West Asian war. Remember, there is a growing uncertainty on the use of Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping route as well. Sapna Das is here now to get us more updates on this one. Sapna, morning, over to you.
Well, it's a clear message coming in from government sources, which is basically that there is no need to panic. We are in a reasonably comfortable situation as far as our crude oil stock and gas stocks are concerned. So starting off first with crude oil, given to understand that 25 days of stock is available. Similarly for petroleum products, that is basically petrol and diesel, another 25 days of stock is available. Put together 50-odd days of stock is, is a reasonably comfortable situation as far as the Indian market goes. Similarly, in terms of LNG, given to understand that around 2 to 3 weeks of supplies are there, so not much of a worry on that front. LPG, another 25 to 30 odd days. Also given to understand that the disruptions which are ongoing right now, say for example in Saudi Arabia as well as Qatar, well, they may not last for too long. These are temporary situations or other pauses rather than a kind of a permanent closure or a permanent stop, which is not what is being anticipated by government sources here. So that's one. Second, also in terms of the fact the situation in the Strait of Hormuz should give him to understand that the tankers are basically anchored in the waters of Hormuz. The problem is with the insurance cover, which has been pulled off. There are negotiations which are ongoing right now. So probably in the coming days, there could be some respite or some relief on that front. Last but not the least, also the crude oil prices definitely have been impacted because of all of this. There are estimates doing the rounds in the Indian government, well, that $82 plus per barrel is how the Brent crude could be in the next 10 to 15 odd days, but there's an expectation that it could also come back below 75 odd. But as I just said, we need to take this with a pinch of salt. These are expectations as of now. The situation is very different than what it was in 2022 when it was just between Russia and Ukraine. There are multiple states involved here in the West Asia, and most of the countries are major suppliers of crude oil to India. So keeping all of that in mind, no need to panic, but this is something that we have to keep a watch on.
Absolutely, Sapna. Thank you so much for that. But on that note, we're going to step into a very short break. After the break, we'll get you cues from Wall Street. Stay tuned in.
My bhai, do you know any cool bank जो digital first हो?
SBI coolest है.
What?
Digital loans 30 मिनट में. AI models 140 plus. Yono users 9 करोड़. Daily UPI transactions 33 करोड़.
Cool तो है.
चलो. SBI, the banker to every Indian. Truly.
We respect our loved ones lifelong too, don't we? Just like Tata Power Solar Roof, best quality solutions, lifelong service guarantee and unmatched expertise. Ye on the quality lifelong.
When our big boss was MD, he used to take care of us.
And our Prince Sahab is busy insuring his family.
Oh, big boss, you?
He's busy obtaining term insurance for his family. After all, office is also our family, am I right?
Let's close the deal.
Thank you.
Verma ji, will you have tea with this prince?
LIC's Group Term Assurance Plan takes care of your office family.
Thanks for staying tuned into Power Breakfast on CNBC TV 18. Now let's talk about the US markets. Wall Street recovered sharply from the lows of the day on Tuesday, but still closed lower. At the Dow Jones, which was down more than 1,200 points at one point of time, cut its losses to finish down over 400 points. S&P 500, Nasdaq also bounced back after falling 2.5% earlier in the session, ended the trading session with cuts of more than around 1% that you could say. Now let's go across to CNBC's Mackenzie Sigalos, who's here to give us a wrap on what happened on Wall Street.
U.S. markets were down across the major indexes in Tuesday trading, but rebounded from a big morning sell-off. The Dow was down 404 points, the S&P 500 fell 55, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq lost 232. With oil prices rising amid war with Iran, President Trump on Tuesday announced that the U.S. government will provide risk insurance for all maritime trade through the Persian Gulf. The president also said that if necessary, the U.S. Navy will begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. According to a Reuters report citing Iranian state media, Iran is threatening to set fire to any ship trying to transport oil through the strait. The critical waterway is used to transport nearly 20% of the world's oil supply. Opening statements began Tuesday in an antitrust trial against Ticketmaster's parent company, Live Nation. The Justice Department is accusing Live Nation of operating an illegal monopoly. The DOJ argues Live Nation has used its dominant market position to stifle competition and drive up ticket prices, and an opening statement said the company has broken the concert industry. Live Nation denies it's a monopoly, saying it faces fierce competition. That's what's happening here in the U.S. Back to you in Mumbai.
Thank you so much for that. But here's some opinion coming in from Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, on the biggest risk facing banks as well as global security.
I think the most important thing is that we keep the Western world free and safe for democracy. You know, and people like this have gotten away literally with murder for 50 years. So that's far more important. But, you know, as a corollary to that, you got to expect there'll be cyber attacks or terrorist attacks either here or around the world. Banks may be targets, so may plenty of other people, and we always try to be prepared for that. We never try to predict when, why, where. We spend a lot of money protecting ourselves for cyber. We think it's part of our job. But I've always said I would consider that one of the highest risk banks bear. Not just the cycle, cyber.
Okay, on that note, let's move across and talk about how are these overnight cues going to be impacting our Indian markets. We have a team of research here to set you up for trade, tell you which are the important stocks to watch out for in the trading session as well. First up, Vivek is joining us to tell us the important market cues that we should be keeping an eye out on today. Good morning, Vivek.
Well, good morning. A lot of news that we've digested over the brief market holiday that we had on account of the Holi festival. Indian markets, remember, shut yesterday, and yesterday we did see quite a bit of a risk of sentiment prevail across most equity classes as well as commodity classes. U.S. markets, like you mentioned, ended sharply off the intraday lows, but despite that, managed to end the day with significant cuts. Today morning, what we're actually seeing is significant sell-off across most of the Asian markets. In fact, the market that's been impacted the most has been the South Korea market, with the Kospi at one point of time down almost 7%. Other key triggers that we will be watching out for: dollar index strength continues. That's something that we will watch out for. And oil prices, despite cooling off post Donald Trump statements on providing insurance to tankers across the Strait of Hormuz, despite that, oil prices have risen significantly from Monday morning. So that'll be something that will weigh on as far as sentiment, as far as Indian markets are concerned. GIFT Nifty, remember, now adjusted, trades almost 500 points lower compared to where we were on Monday. So again, expect a weak start for Indian markets. Importantly, whether we see any buying emerge that we saw on Monday, especially in the second half.
Okay, surely we'll keep an eye out on that. But now over to Dia to tell us which are the important stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. Good morning, Dia.
Well, good morning. Starting off with JSW Cement first, they have emerged as the preferred bidder for a 400-hectare limestone block in Assam. Tata Motors will also be in focus. They have clarified on reports of Indonesia putting vehicle import orders on hold. They've said that orders and advances from Indonesia remain program-driven, and there is no execution risk for their order. M&M as well has clarified on this issue, saying that the report is not material and they have received an advance for their Indonesian order as well. Nalco, Hindalco as well as Vedanta will also be in focus today. Catalam, which was a JV between Qatar Energy and Norsk Hydro, has said that it has halted the production of aluminum, which can lead to some widening in the perceived deficit for aluminum as well. AGI Infra will also be in focus today. They have launched a QIP with a floor price of rupees 274.8 per share. Natco Pharma has partnered with Breckenridge Pharmaceutical and launched a generic of $3.2 billion Pomalyst in the US with a likely 180-day exclusivity period. Cipla as well has entered into a 60-40 JV with Chemwell Biopharma to focus on the development and manufacturing of biologics and biosimilars. Dabur will also remain in focus today. They have acquired a minority stake for 60 crore rupees in Ras Beauty, and this is the first D2C acquisition under Dabur Ventures. Keep an eye on Adani Ports as well. They have come out with their business update for the month of February. The cargo handle volume has increased by around 16% on a year-on-year basis. HAL has received an order worth roughly 2,901 crores for 6 units of the ALH Mark III helicopters. And lastly, JSW Infra will also remain in focus today. One of their 15 storage tanks in the UAE have been struck by drone debris on the 3rd of March, although no injuries have been reported yet.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Riya. But let's go across to Sudarshan, who's here to give us the final leg of update in terms of what that is going to be happening in the world of F&O today. Good morning, Sudarshan.
Good morning, Vinny. So even after 4 days of this US-Asia tension, there is no indication of those tensions easing. And no other cues can be more important than this one. So unless the tensions ease, there is unlikely that we'll see buying returning in the market. And that indication you are seeing from GIFT Nifty, which tells you that Nifty might open with a cut of 500 or more than that. And now, if it opens 500 points lower, 24,000 comes under threat for Nifty. As far as the F&O data is concerned, we continue to see heavy selling by FIs, both in the cash market as well as in the derivative market. In the index futures on Monday also, if you see, they have sold more than 3,300 crore. Come to the option side, the selling is more than 23,000 crore. Longs exposure has reduced to 16%. On the short side, they have added positions of more than 18,700 contracts, and now they remain heavily shorted, and the exposure has increased to 84%. Come to the option data. On the call side, one call option that has seen an increase in the open interest, the maximum was 25,000. That indicates you that from the level of 24,400 to as high as 25,000, there has been heavy selling, heavy call writing. On the put side, 24,000 and 24,200 were the most active ones, where we have seen premium increasing for both these put options. So support for Nifty would be May 2025 lows of around 23,900, 24,000. Resistance 25,000 as of now, but we unlikely will see any buying in the market in this kind of market. And one stock that remains in the band is Samant Capital. We can't see any stocks where we have been seeing fresh longs. Only one thing that we have been seeing is fresh shorts.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. Important levels also that we'll be keeping an eye out on. But on that note, we're going to spend a very short break. After the break, we'll talk about what's happening in the world of commodities. Stay tuned in.
MCX IPF presents A Monk Who Trades. What's up?
Breaking the stick was easy.
But a bundle is not easy to break, just like this bundle. A well-diversified portfolio is stronger.
Oh, so spreading my investments across different asset classes makes my finances more secure.
Even I don't put all my snacks in one spot.
Exactly. A mix of different asset classes, including commodities, helps manage risk and build a resilient financial future.
Time to strengthen my investments.
Did you know diversifying across multiple asset classes, including commodities, helps reduce risk and ensures financial stability? Issued in public interest by Multi-Commodity Exchange Investor Protection Fund.
वीडियो कॉल मैं सीनियर इंस्पेक्टर काली पहाड़ी चौकी से।
यस,
आपके पार्सल में ड्रग्स मिले हैं।
ड्रग?
मने आपको अरेस्ट किया जाता है। यदि बचना चाहते हो तो 2 लाख रुपए।
ये फोन पे कौन अरेस्ट करता है? तुम पुलिस नहीं है और हम बोगा मतलब मूर्ख नहीं है।
यूपीआई कहता है अगर कोई नकली पुलिस बन के आपको भी कॉल करे और डराए तो कहो मैं मूर्ख नहीं। जाइए, आप भी किसी का टेस्ट लीजिए।
Welcome back to Power Breakfast on CNBC TV 18. Now getting you the latest update from the world of tech in our new offering, the AI Pulse. We have Rachna joining us to take us through all of that. Good morning, Rachna.
Good morning. Well, artificial intelligence is now shaping both the battlefield and the information war around it. Iranian drones have struck 2 Amazon Web Services data centers in the UAE, while a nearby facility in Bahrain was also damaged. The attacks have disrupted banking, payments and ride-hailing apps across the region, marking what appears to be the first time commercial cloud infrastructure has been directly targeted during an armed conflict. New reporting also suggests that AI was central to the operation that killed Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Israeli intelligence allegedly hacked Tehran's traffic cameras and used AI tools developed by Unit 8200 to analyze security routines and build a detailed pattern of life before the strike. The information war is also moving online. Escort now says creators who post AI-generated war footage without disclosing it will lose access to its revenue-sharing program for 90 days. The move follows a synthetic video showing an airstrike on the Burj Khalifa that that racked up more than 8 million views. Meanwhile, the Pentagon's growing relationship with the Silicon Valley is triggering backlash. Sam Altman says he regrets rushing the announcement of OpenAI's deal with the US Department of Defense. The company has since amended the contract to explicitly bar its models from being used for domestic surveillance of US citizens, though it still does not explicitly prohibit autonomous AI-enabled weapons, which were the two red lines that were drawn by Sam Altman as well as Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. Now, the controversy is spilling into the consumer AI race as well, because OpenAI's decision to retire the GPT-4o model has also triggered user backlash, with some users saying that they are uninstalling ChatGPT and switching platforms. ChatGPT saw a 295% surge in uninstalls, but that's not all. There's also a protest call outside the ChatGPT headquarters today. That appears to be benefiting rival Anthropic, whose chatbot Claude has now surged to #1 position on the App Store. And as for the battle for the future of AI in both war and technology, it is intensifying.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Rachna. But now let's move on and talk about what's happening in the world of commodities, given the tensions that are increasing in West Asia, crude, gold, all of it. Manisha is here to talk to us about that. Good morning, Manisha.
Thank you for that, Vinny. I'll start with the crude oil prices. And after gaining 12% in this week already, we're looking at a bit of a halt in the rally therein. The prices, while are holding at around Jan 2025 highs, the markets are reacting to the U.S. saying that it will provide naval escorts for tankers transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Now, that has brought in a slight stability, but the markets will have to see on ground on whether or not that really happens. In the meanwhile, it also is about Iraq halting operations at some of its largest fields. So this is far from over, and you could be looking at further gains coming in for the crude prices. The other thing that has gained quite sharply has been the aluminum prices. Now, LME stocks in any case have been declining, and you have Qatar Energy saying that it is halting production of aluminum and certain chemicals. Remember, 9% of the global aluminum production happens in the Middle East, in West Asia, and with the conflict now raging there, there is concern on aluminum production as well. So some gains continuing into this one. Aluminum prices have gained up by 5% in this week.
Okay, Manisha, thank you so much for that. But with that, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Power Breakfast. Nifty implied open still indicating a sharp fall for the Indian markets. Up next, your Bazaar Morning Call to take you through all that action.
Trying to invest in today's market is like getting stuck in a traffic jam. Too much noise, too many turns. Everyone's shouting advice, but no one's really guiding. That's why you need a weekly investment GPS. Translate market noise into smart signals with insights from India's most trusted fund managers. Get a deeper market understanding week on week so you can grow your portfolio with clarity.
Bandhan Mutual Fund presents MF Corner.
बीते 9 वर्षों में विकास के सूर्योदय का साक्षी बना उत्तर प्रदेश वही प्रदेश है जहां 2017 से पहले बिजली आती नहीं थी और आज बिजली जाती नहीं है। लचर बिजली व्यवस्था की चुनौतियों पर भारी पड़ी योगी सरकार की ठोस नीतियां। पिछले 9 वर्षों में प्रदेश का विद्युत उत्पादन 25,000 मेगावाट से अधिक हो गया है। सौभाग्य योजना के तहत निःशुल्क बिजली कनेक्शन देने में उत्तर प्रदेश देश में नंबर 1 है, जहां अब तक 1.65 करोड़ से अधिक घरों को रोशन किया जा चुका है। वर्ष 2017 तक 1,28,494 मजरों तक बिजली पहुंची थी। वहीं आज 2.95 लाख से अधिक मजरे जगमगा रहे हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश बजट 2026-27 में योगी सरकार ने ऊर्जा क्षेत्र के लिए 65,926 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक की व्यवस्था की है। योगी सरकार का सुशासन घर घर हो रहा है रोशन।
Insights from Wall Street are now closer than ever before.
Add global market news, analysis, essential investment tools, and trends to your edge.
CNBC Pro content is now exclusively available with your CNBC TV 18 Access membership.